What's up, everybody? Chris Fluke here, Chris Fluke Podcast episode 106. Today, this episode is called Bullies Suck. Do you know why we're calling it that? Because bullies suck, all right? That's the episode. Just kidding. Now, yesterday, or sometime this week, I don't even know. I'm losing track of my days here. I ran into a kid, right? This kid came in and he was down in the dumps. You could see it right away, moping his way in there, 20 steps behind everybody else. So my mind goes, all right, here we go. Time for this is a little bit of a challenge. I had a busy day doing outside work, 4 hours of training people, running around, meeting my family for some sushi. No rest for the weary, they say, right? So anyway, I'm like, I got to bring some energy to this kid, right? This is the last thing. This is the only time I'll see him this week. Let's try to get him in a better mood when he leaves than when he came in here, right? So what do? You try to talk to him a little bit, right? But you know that verbally you're probably not going to get him out of that funk. There's probably nothing I could really say to him in the moment that was going to make him feel better. But all I was doing was just trying to keep planting some seeds, keep trying to nudge him, keep trying to engage him, and eventually he opened up. So he starts to open up and he tells me what happened over the course of his day. He tells me about this little scrawny kid who's I forget what he called him. He might have spelled it out. He's a little too young to curse, so he might have just said a phallic. He's pretty smart. I think he said a phallic item he compared him to, and I was like, okay, I got you, man. So apparently this kid is kind of a little D-I-C-K, and I know the kid's family, and I could probably attest that that might be true, right? Anyhow, I shouldn't be calling little kids that, but he's not kind to this guy that I know, and it really affected him. It really put him in a funk, and he was using words like sad, and he didn't really know how to handle the situation. Because you can't choke slam people, right? This kid could probably choke slam the other one, but he chose not to. Now he's just got to deal with him and all of his buddies laughing at him, pointing at him, and all this other stuff based off of an incident that happened in the cafeteria. So what do we have to do here? You have a bully, you have a kid knocking some food over on you, okay? And the kid is not nice, and he's just playing it up for his buddies, yucking it up. You know how that is, right? You guys all remember high school. Or middle school, and now this kid's even in elementary school, so even a little bit younger, right? So you have a few options. You punch him in the face, all right? You choke slam him, whatever your choice is. You kick him in the head. I don't know what you do, right? That's going to get you into some trouble, and if you go to that well one too many times, you're eventually going to get your butt whooped. You're eventually going to get yourself in big trouble, or you're eventually going to get yourself thrown into prison or something like that. Not a good option. Physical violence is probably not your best alternative, or it's probably not your best way to get out of this issue. So you have a bully, what do? My opinion, you can't let them get to you, right? Easier said than done. These kids are going to be talking a bunch of trash. He's going to be giving you crap. He's going to be poking the bear. And if you let him know that the bear has been poked and the bear is agitated, he's going to keep coming back to it, right? He's going to keep going at you, and he's going to keep putting you in a bad state of mind. And once he sees you're in a bad state of mind, he's going to do that same thing again and again and again and again. So like we talked about in a previous episode here, we spend too much time focusing on these external circumstances, right? We spend too much time worrying about what other people are doing, what other people think of us, what other people say to us, when really we need to be focusing on us, man, focusing on ourselves. So you got a bully, you're a young kid. I had this guy one time, and like every high school's got that one dude that's like 2 or 3 years older than everybody. He might have got held back twice. He should be like a sophomore, but he's in like 8th grade. Now you're playing middle school football with him, and you're in 7th grade, and you're just like, dude, this guy's driving to practice. What's going on? He's got like a mustache. He's got muscles. He's got hair under his armpits. You're like wondering, shouldn't this kid be in like college or something like that? But anyway, this guy, man, he came with some verbal nonsense at me when I was in 7th grade, and I would love to tell you that I just freaking double leg takedown and whooped him, but I have to admit, I was scared of this guy. This guy could probably beat me up, and he was coming after me with some verbal warfare, so to speak. But one thing that I did not do is engage the verbal warfare. I remember this, and this was just something that my personality is that I was not going to get into a verbal spat with this guy, because it was probably going to lead to something physical, and I didn't want that to happen, right? So we had to resolve the situation in a way that was going to be amicable for everybody involved. Now, granted, after he realized I wasn't going to engage in that behavior, he probably just moved on to the next kid, all right? And I don't know how that next kid handled it, but all I know is that I didn't give into it. I didn't let him know that he was affecting me. I didn't let him know that he was scaring me. And the situation went away. Now, I know at like the younger ages, you could always kind of go to an adult and stuff like that, but they're not always able to do something. It appears that teachers and administrators aren't always able to step in and help, which is the instance with the kid that I worked with, right? He said he told somebody, but it didn't help. So we have to start working on our personal, how we feel about ourselves, the confidence that we have, our ability to have some self-efficacy, some self-esteem, some of those feel-good things, you know, that if somebody does say something to me, it doesn't matter. We're able to dust them off because we are comfortable with who we are, and we're comfortable with ourselves, and we're comfortable knowing that this kid, I'm not going to give this kid this power to destroy my day, to destroy my week, to destroy my month, to destroy my days, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. All right? Because that's just what they do. They feed off of that. Once they find a weakness, man, they jump on it. You know? They just attack that weakness like a predator out in the wild, man. And they are relentless. So, kid comes in to work out in a terrible mood. I got my work cut out for me. I'm like, man, I got to bring this kid back, man. I got to get a smile on his face. I got to make him happy. I'm going to tell some jokes. I'm going to put some music on. Hey, I'll put whatever you want to listen to something, man? Let's get it on here. Let's try to get some feel good emotions going. And then guess what happened? The kid's freaking amped up, yelling, "Whoa!" Keep in mind, he's a 5th grader, I think. So it wasn't like real crazy excitement. He was being kind of funny with it. But the dude was pumped. Do you know why? Because we started working out, man. We started pumping some iron. We started bench pressing. And apparently that's what he needed. It wasn't the run. It wasn't the lap that he ran. It wasn't the sled. It wasn't the rope waves. The bench press brought it out of him. Maybe there's something in us men that we just need to get a weight in our hands and press it off our chest. I don't know. But anyway, the bench press brought this kid back from the dead, basically. And he was smiling when he left, and I told him I'd see him next week, and he said, absolutely. And he even helped me close up. Stuck around, asked if I needed a hand with this and that. Totally different kid than when he came in. And this reminded me of a study done by a little university by the name of Duke University. You ever hear of it? I'm just kidding. Anyway, it was called the Standard Medical Intervention and Long-Term Exercise Study. SMILE was the acronym. Pretty creative these guys are down there, these guys and gals. SMILE acronym for this study. What they were looking at is they were looking at physical fitness, and they were looking at depression, right? When you're depressed, your quality of life goes down. This individual that was in, he was in a sad state. He was not a happy camper. Not a happy camper. Because of that, quality of life goes down. He doesn't enjoy the same stuff. All right? He doesn't enjoy spending time with his family because he's in such a funk that he doesn't even want to give it a chance, right? Healthcare costs go up. Medical conditions will also go up. When you're depressed, you don't feel like doing much. When you're depressed, you might be given some medication. That medication might have an effect on you in one way or another, for good or for bad or for medium. Now, in addition, if you're in that funk, you're probably not getting out and getting moving too often, right? I have a feeling that this individual did not want to come and work out, but was forced to come by somebody in his family, and guess what? He left a happier man for it. All right? So, if you're down in the dumps, you might need somebody in your corner to get you up and get you moving, because you might not be able to do it yourself. Now, let's get into this study results, right? They had 3 groups. They had those that exercised 45 minutes 3 days a week. They had those on an antidepressant. And then they had those that did both. Eventually, they added a control group to this study, and they got the same results, okay? All of these areas shown improvement. Those that exercised, those that got the antidepressant, and those that had a combination of exercise and antidepressant. But at the 10-month mark, 38% of the drug group relapsed into depression. 31% of the combination group, which was drugs plus exercise, relapsed into depression, but only 8% in the exercise-only group relapsed into depression. All right? This is Duke University. This is not no made-up nonsense study that I'm spitting at you right here. And you might be wondering, my first instinct was this: why didn't the combination group do the best? We had the drug plus the exercise. And they think that the reason behind that is because of the whole accountability thing. Because bug almost got me there. if you're watching on YouTube, I was just swatting there. Sorry. Exercise may be most successful because they are taking an active role to get better, right? So they only had an 8% relapse group because they kind of took their condition into their own hands and said, I'm going to make myself better, right? This allowed them to feel more self-confident. It allowed them to feel more competent because they were doing it themselves. All right? This could be the reason why the exercise plus drug group didn't do as well, because there was always that fallback option that they didn't do it on their own totally, right? They had that medical intervention. They had that little bit of help, right? But in the case of this study, if you exercise, you felt better. And if you felt better, you exercise more. And when you exercise more, you felt even better, okay? And then there's more to this now. If you engage in, this is just some other random findings that they found. If you engage in exercise, you are 50% less likely to be depressed. Sounds awesome, right? Patients with no gain or loss in aerobic capacity were less likely to benefit. So what does that mean? If you remain the same, you will not get any kind of improvement. You have to challenge yourself a little bit and push beyond your limits. Just a little bit aerobically, right? So walk a little faster, go a little further, take on some hills, things like that. And lastly, one of the guys that made the study here, that was part of this study, Blumenthal, there's an inverse relationship between exercise and the risk of relapse. For each 50-minute increment of exercise, there was an accompanying 50% reduction in relapse risk. So for every 50 minutes you add on to your exercise routine, a 50% reduction in relapse risk. How sweet is that? If you get your body moving, right? If you get your body moving, you're going to be less likely to be depressed, to fall back into depression, to feel lacking confidence, to feel a lack in self-esteem, right? When all you have to do is just exercise, get your body moving a little bit like that. And I know that there's some rare cases that some medications are needed, right? So I'm not doing this because I'm some sort of anti-medicine person, some anti-intervention type person, right? But I am saying this. You look at these numbers here, after 10 months, those in the exercise group, only 8% relapse to depression. 8%. It's hard to beat that. It's hard to beat that number, right? And to be quite honest, when you start exercising and you start feeling good about yourself, you know, we start seeing some physical benefits. Not only in the mirror, but also with your health markers, right? You become a healthier individual. It sounds like it's just a win-win situation all around. There's nothing better than getting that body moving. Nothing better for the mood than get that body moving. So if you're facing some tough times at school, young one, find something that gets your body in action. Go for a walk. Join a team. Learn how to wrestle. Maybe you go learn a martial art. Something like that where you could work. You could take control of your situation, right? You could take control of your training and you could feel better about yourself for it. Because you did it. Nobody else. You do something that's a little bit beyond your grasp and you'll be rewarded for it. That is all for today. Oh, no it's not. Sorry. Great, seven tips for effective exercise. I'm sorry about that. I got one more thing here. How do you get in the mix here with your exercise, right? What do you want to do? What do you want to do and how you want to implement that in your daily life? Choose an activity that you enjoy, right? You're not going to do it if you don't enjoy it. Take care of your body. Take care of your feet, your ankles, your knees, all of that stuff. The timing is everything. Make sure it fits into the schedule. Anticipate that there's going to be barriers. It's not all or nothing. A little bit is always better than nothing, right? Find a buddy. Find a little workout partner. Find a teammate, something like that. Think positive. It's all. We got to get our minds right. Feed it with good positive stuff, right? Not that negative stuff that happens. And appreciate that feeling. Appreciate the feeling. Appreciate what you just accomplished. Because you know why? Because you did it. All right? Exercise has got the power, man. It's got the power to make incredible things happen. All right, now, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Chris Fluck Podcast 106. I just put out my 200th newsletter last weekend. Go to chrisfluck.net and subscribe to our, go to our blog, and it says, sign up for our newsletter there, or you could just There's a pop-up that comes into your email on there, and we'll put you on the list, right? So we're on Apple, we're on Google, YouTube, Spotify, and that's it, man. All right, hope you guys like this one, right? Remember, bullies suck, and if you're facing a bully right now, don't let them get to you, man. Be the bigger person. Take the high ground. Be strong. Build your mind, build your body. You're going to be a better person for it. Peace, everybody.